Hi guys, my name is Alan, and Mike, no shade. The last name pronunciation makes no sense. It's Hable. The best mnemonic tool as I have, it's probably Hable, if you're wondering how to pronounce it, probably Hable. And I feel like I'm up here because I think I have a unique mission field to talk about, but I also am connected to you guys through Larry and Debbie Crestis, who are my in-laws, and would recommend marrying one of their daughters. Sorry, they're all taken. But I was 17 when the Lord met me. I had been confronted with personal sin in my life, and the Lord met me in the employee bathroom of Dave's Food Basket in Clinton, Illinois. The one that's kind of gross and sticky in the back, you know? And I just remember kneeling on the floor because my personal sin was met by the Jesus who I'd heard about for many years but didn't understand. At 17, I had committed to go to the University of Illinois to study mechanical engineering. Long story short, I'm not doing that anymore. But I am married to, like I said, Larry and Debbie's daughter, Ashley, and this is our family. Yeah, great. So our daughter, Ava, is 9, Aaron is 7, Amelia is 3.5, which is very important at this stage of life. And I want to talk to you about missions here stateside. I have been a campus missionary for the past 15 years. I spent the last 14 years at the University of Illinois, where I was a student. Upon graduating, I took a job with an engineering company, said that was fine, but still felt called into ministry. And so I left that engineering work to be a support-based missionary on a college campus. The reason you're a missionary on a college campus is because college students don't have money to actually fund a church. And it is the most winnable and sendable people group in the world. So in 2024, we moved our family just up the road to Bloomington Normal to Illinois State University, where I serve as a pastor with Cornerstone Church. You can do the next slide. So I want to talk to you guys about the mission at Illinois State University. Roll birds. Roll birds, roll birds, let's go. All right, so why college church? Let's talk about it. Can we go to the next one? A new generation, too fast. Let's go to the back one. Can we go back one? There we go. Nailed it, crushed it. All right. Here's why college church is important. A new generation has unique challenges, right? On the college campus, it's always a new generation, always a new generation. But I think there are some distinctive things going on in our world right now where college students are going through unique things. One, digital natives with digital overload. All that means is they were born with a cell phone in their hand. And they know what it's like to be overloaded by it. And there's increased anxiety, increased concern about the world around them. Sometimes an increased awareness, but sometimes an increased shutting off of the world around them. They're coming of age in a changing world. We're seeing global conflict in ways that we haven't seen in many, many years. There's career uncertainty. I don't know if you heard this thing called AI. It's changing a lot of the jobscape. And so there's a wondering about what is my life going to be? What's my degree going to bring me? And then there's also just more broadly in our country struggles of authority and identity. Who is in charge of my life? Am I in charge of my life? And who gives me my identity? Is it myself? Is it somebody else? Or as we know here, the Lord. So I think these are unique challenges. In some ways you could say this is the challenge every generation has faced, and yet it's unique here on a college campus, which is why we're posted up there. Let's do the next one. Along with unique challenges, there also come unique opportunities. And I want to talk to you about this. This is actually a group of students doing our free coffee ministry. They go out on the quad about once a month now and give out free drinks and just invite people to church. Now the reality is there's plenty of people who aren't thinking about it. They're there for school, it's what's on their mind. But every once in a while, you run into a person of peace who's ready to take the next step with God. And so we're just out there fishing again and again. Let's talk about some of these opportunities. One, the world and the campus are rapidly changing. In the United States, we don't like to hear this because maybe we've got different ideas for what it's supposed to be, but we live in primarily a post-Christian culture. And what that means is there's more and more young people who did not grow up hearing the gospel. And I love it. You know why? They have no baggage with it. They don't have church hurt. They don't have baggage with it. They say, wow, this Jesus guy sounds really interesting. Let's talk about him. 2, demographics are changing. Do you guys remember that 2008 financial crisis? Great. I graduated into that. Thankfully got a job. Since that moment, the birth rate in the United States has plummeted. And it has plummeted more amongst who you would traditionally think of university students, of white Americans, and actually plummeted less among other ethnic groups. And so the university demographics are changing, where the gospel has the opportunity to go to lots of different people from lots of different socioeconomic backgrounds. Even with less students available to go to campuses, more students are going to have the opportunity to go to those campuses from different backgrounds, which is just really exciting. So what I love about this is that students are primed to be spiritually curious. Because of that post-Christian culture where they don't have a mooring, they're spiritually curious, and we're seeing it. We're seeing it over and over again where people are curious about matters of spirituality. Paul Wooster, he's the director of collegiate ministry for the North American Mission Board, has said that this generation is so open to spirituality. The question is, which one's going to get to them first? Let's do the next one. There are also Christians on secular campuses. I don't know if you knew this, but not every Christian needs to go to a Christian college. In fact, many of the secular universities offer amazing programs and are amazing mission fields for college students to be in. This is what called me into campus ministry. Is I was a student who acted like a missionary on a college campus. I led small groups. I did evangelism efforts. I led mission trips, and I participated in the work as a college student. Don't let them tell you they're too busy. They can definitely do it. And these students, more and more in our midst, are catching that the gospel is for everyone. And that if somebody's going to tell them, it's probably them to their friends. Let's do the next one. So how do we do this? There's a need, there's an opportunity. We have a few partnerships. I work with a missions agency called Reliant Mission. They actually share an office in Orlando, Florida with Converge. And Converge is the big one, Reliant's the small one. But Reliant is the missions agency that my wife and I work with. Collegiate is our church network, and we're in it here. There's a network of college campuses, campus-focused churches in Collegiate. There's also a couple others called SALT Network, H2O Network. If you're interested in what college campus ministry and landscape looks like, I've got some flyers I'm going to have in the back. You can meet me out there later. Love talking with the youth about it, just to let them know there are God's people on these campuses who are ready to receive you and ready to disciple you. And then we also, our church is partnered with the Southern Baptist Convention. It's kind of like racing where you get multiple sponsors on you. So we have partnerships. Let's talk about our church. So I pastor Cornerstone Church. Cornerstone Church is a college campus-focused church. We love meeting with students. We meet in the Bone Student Center at ISU for our worship service, and almost every week somebody walks by and says, hey, maybe I should check that out, because we're in the heart of where students live. Our church, we simply say we're committed to God's glory, his ways, and his mission. In many ways, that's what any church is doing. You slice it, you name it different things, but that's how we've talked about it on our campus. So what do we do as a church? There's a few key things that we do. 1, on-campus worship. I mentioned that in the Bone Student Center. 2, we love to empower students. In fact, it's one of our values that we empower and send disciples of Jesus. We want to send disciples to be participants in the Great Commission, whether it be in the workplace as engineers or bankers, or we have students who catch the drift and catch the vision for foreign missions, because we're empowering them now so they can see that they can do it later. And sometimes their degrees and their secular universities give them great inroads to countries where the gospel may be closed. We do outreach events. I mentioned that free coffee ministry. We do other stuff. We're just trying to meet new students on campus. Lots of chalk on college campuses. In the age of social media, sometimes chalk on pavement is still one of the best ways to get people's attention. And then we do things like relational evangelism. We mentioned we do outreach stuff, but we also know many students are the only Christian that maybe their friend circle has, or at least part of a friend circle where they are the one who's walking with Jesus. And so, I don't know if you've heard this phrase before, you might be the only Bible that somebody reads. And I feel this way on the college campus where they have relationally connected with their peers are inviting them around to things. In fact, we love this question. You might use it in your context. Although I hear you guys already filling this room up and you got to build something bigger. But if I were to invite you to church, would you want to come? Not do you want to come with me, but if I were. It like takes the step away. In an anxious generation, it's helpful. Anyway, this is how we do it. Let's do the next one. This is what we hope for. I want to tell you about Riley. Riley was a freshman at the University of Illinois a few years ago who was spiritually seeking. She had no church background whatsoever. And she was on YouTube typing in those spiritual questions. And this is what people are doing. Your neighbors are doing this. They're on ChatGPT. They're asking the questions. She was checking on YouTube trying to figure out spiritual things. A friend of hers who was a believer invited her to come to church with her. She came. She said, hey, I'd like to hear what it means to follow Jesus. I sat down with her in the basement of the Illini Union and shared the gospel with her. I didn't know if she was going to come back around. She said she went home and did one of those, you run inside your room, you close the door, and you freak out, and gave her life to Jesus. Riley became a student leader in our church, and she now serves as a staff person at the church at the University of Illinois. And she is just the most missional and evangelistic person on that team. This is the fruit of the work that we do. We're posted up at this gate of hell on the college campus. Jesus says he'll establish a church. The gates of hell won't prevail against it. Gates don't move, and so we're going to that gate. We're going to the campus gate. And here's what I love. I want to tell you this. I think people do the exact opposite with this stat. So let's do the next slide. People with higher ed degrees are actually, by rate, more likely to be a part of the church. Who thought it was the opposite? Okay, so there's a researcher at Eastern Illinois University. His name is Ryan Burge. He's a pastor in Charleston as well. And he has done this work. And the rate at which people are part of churches with higher ed degrees is almost 1.5 times from having a high school degree to having a master's degree. And the higher up in higher ed you go, the more likely you are to be a part of it. Because two things. I think, one, they're seeing the creation. They're testing it. They're understanding it. And they have to figure out what's the answer. It's not myself. And two, because ministries like ours are posted up on college campuses and saying, Jesus is worth considering. Jesus is worth giving your life to. And so we stay there. We stay at that gate of hell and keep inviting people to not go through it and to stay with us on God's side. Here's the thing, though. We love doing this. We can't do it alone. Our missions agency is really clever. We can't do this alone. We are reliant. Yeah, there you go. We are reliant on God, and we're reliant on others to do this work. And we talk about partnership in a few different ways. Let's do the next one. The first is prayer. We're in a changing season. I have a new leadership role at a new church. It's been really exciting. I think God knew exactly what he was doing, exactly the timing, but we'd still love prayer behind what we're doing. 2, we have kids we're raising in a college campus church, which is unique. There's not a ton of youth around them, but they also get this amazing opportunity to be around people from all over who are exploring all sorts of career opportunities, and they're exposed to way more college degrees than I was when I was their age. And 3, we do have a new spiritual era on our campus, and we want gospel fruit. The only way the church should grow is through evangelism, not through transfer. And so we want to see our church and ministry grow because people are coming to the Lord. Our second need is the one that everybody thinks of when they think of missionaries. It's financial. And so actually our family is a family of reliant missionaries who are supported individually through our work. Our church gives a bit of money to what we do, but our budget is paltry. And so we seek individual partnership and church partnership, and that's why we're here today. Our current need is about $850 a month in new partnerships. And so we receive monthly partnerships to allow the work that we're doing. I know I'm here to talk about it with Jackson Creek, but if you're interested just individually to talk more about what we're doing on a college campus, I would love to not tap my microphone. I would love to talk with you about it. I think it is some of the most compelling work because I'm doing it, but also because I can't seem to get away from it. Our third need. We want to share our ministry with young people. I loved being with the youth here. You guys were just a joy. It was so much fun. I could do that, not every week. It's kind of chaotic, but every once in a while. College ministry is like youth ministry plus. It's a bit more civilized. And then if you know folks who are they love universities and they don't see hope for the gospel there, or just need to hear about it, we love talking to folks about the work God is doing on a college campus. Honestly, through us, but also just through so many other ministries that we love and see. I think that's where I'm at. Can we do one more? Just thank you guys. I know it's quick. I know there's a lot. I love getting a chance to tell you missions is happening this side of the border of our country. God is doing some amazing things in the hearts of college students. In fact, some of the world missions movements throughout history have been started by college students. And I've been consistently praying for that to happen again in this generation. Hey, thank you guys so much for your time. Appreciate you.